I have a very special guest today, my grandmother, Ruth Scheer. A fellow musician and author, she's been such an inspiration to me. Grandma Ruth, how did you develop an interest in both music and writing?
Then for writing, when I was about 13 years old, and I had one brother whose name was Dan, and I wrote a poem. Danny is my brother. He is the best. I can't even remember. It has pest in it, but such a pest. And I wrote a couple
Little
of
brother,
verses.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
And somehow that was so much fun. And of course, it just dovetails into music anyway, when you have all those lovely rhymes on the ends of lines. And so again, I was set on fire. And so that's why I wanted to write and describe lovely things. Also, I hoped to help inspire people to hear and do beautiful things. Not ugly things, beautiful things that stems right out of the soul when the Lord is inside of you.
I think that's the goal of a lot of us music teachers. We're trying to inspire that in our
students. So
that's
really how I started writing both music and or learning both music and how to write.
Over the years, you've published several wonderful children's books. Can you tell us about some of your favorites?
I could publish my first book, which I did with Mennonite Press in Newton, and they have done beautifully. All the books I have published are just exactly the way Harold and I wanted them to look. I've had several fabulous illustrators, but my friend from college, Fay Grable, was the one that did Hippopotamus, My Friend, Giraffe at the Zoo, and Elephant's Trunk. That is the Zoo trilogy. And they're just darling. And then the next things I did were storybooks. And the first one was The Mouse and the Angel, which is a Christmas story, with the mouse representing the least of these and the angel representing the most wonderful creation of these. But it's all worked into a story with Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus on the night that he was born. And then I did one on the Halloween ghost, which is going to, in the long run, make a trilogy on the holidays. And then I did one on Easter, describing my 4-year-old Tanya when we took a trip and she worried that the Easter Bunny wouldn't be able to find us 400 miles away at the cabin. And those three became a trilogy of stories. And then possibly the crowning glory of, and I am proud of this, and this is recent, I published The Golden Dream. And believe it or not, I wrote this when I was 20. It is an antithesis book to Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Oh, really?
Which is so beautiful. It's exactly the same length, uses exactly the same rhyme scheme, and the verses just like The Raven. But The Raven has as it says, quoth the Raven, nevermore, hopelessness. And I made mine hopefulness, an antithesis to hopelessness. And that was just a joy. And somehow that creative thing within me allowed me to do that. And then my Fayola Grable, did the most beautiful pictures with that book. And it's a little blind girl who represents humanity. She's in a bed with a beautiful coverlet. And Christ is represented as the golden bird sitting out on the lamppost. And God is represented as the sun. Mother Nature by a breeze, which is personified and swishes in and out in the pictures. It is ethereal and I think very lovely and tells a story of hope. And even though the little girl will not regain her sight, she will see inwardly to the truth, because the golden bird flies to her bedside and one gold feather falls to her hand. And that's in a nutshell.
Well, thank you so much for being willing to interview today, and I appreciate all of your time and your inspiration over the many years, Grandma. It's been wonderful.
My sweet angel. You're my sweet angel, dear.
Thank you.